Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Eleanor. Thank you so much for being here. Today's topic is going to be, what do you do next after the very first step? So, the very first step is you have an idea and you put it in a business plan. That's the very first step. The second step is what today's topic is on, and that is getting your money. So, you want to do it. How do you get your money? So, let's discuss it. First of all, you have to work out if you're going to buy a location. Are you buying a location? That's the most profitable avenue to go by. This video is not going to be on that avenue. The other avenue, this next avenue, is you're going to go to um, a real estate management company. Like there's a lot of them. Out here, it's Davaris. So you can go to a real estate. How do you find it? Just Google it or just go by the areas that you want your store at. Just pick two or three of your top ones and look for the contact information. Who owns those? Who owns? Who manages at those areas? They usually signs up, and you just call them and make an appointment with them to speak to them and ask to have a look at the properties and how much they are and how much square footage it's required and what's their camps, meaning what's their common costs, trash, cleaning, blah blah blah. That is usually divvied out monthly and annually if it's. So when you need money, you go to the bank. Now, management company, the landlord, they're either going to have a place that's ready to go that was there before, so the hood's in, there's somewhat of a front area, and if you're okay with that, you just do like a lift on it. So you just fresh paint, put up your logos, whatever, and kind of, if you're okay with that, that will save you a lot of money. And usually the extra, they will pay for it. They will do or you'll do. And that's not a lot extra. I went to a place, my first area, it was all there. They were just doing a lift in the back. So they were putting a hood in for me. They were doing, and kind of painting the front and the back. That cost me a lot of money. I think it was something like 180 or 280. It was, they totally, and the bank went along with it. They said, oh, that's what it costs. The bank's just giving money to me. The bank referred a builder. They just Googled it and referred me a builder who was just, you know, an asshole. And he wasn't very nice to me the whole way through, but he got the job done. And so if you're going to a place like this that's already done, all you have to do is paint, do everything. This was a complete floor plan. This was concrete on the floor, no walls. So if you're going to a place that is semi done and you're just needing a hood or whatever, it's probably cost you about anywhere from, 80,000 to 100,000 to complete the job. If you have a hood in there, you have a hood in the back, you have a sink, a toilet, you have the basics, then just go with it. Just paint it, make it nice, make it yours, update whatever, but go with it. That will save you everything. And you should organize the landlords to complete the job for you. Because to them, they're already doing this all the time. So it's not going to cost them a lot to just paint and do some things to it and make it clean and fresh for you when you move in. It's not going to cost anything for them. You may do it with a little bit paying more rent, for example. Um, you know, Otherwise, just negotiate a move in ready place. And if you got some experience, like meaning you've cooked before, you've baked before, and you can show that you sell, people are interested. Like if you go to the market and you've done that, you can negotiate this very easily. You just, refuse to kind of negotiate with anybody that doesn't want to do that, and you'll find something. Um, I narrowed it down to the Davaras and the Potter family at the ocean front. And I came to this because they were flipping me turnkey ready. Now they probably raised my rent, but I had everything. I had the hood. I even had like this. All they had to do was uh, put put the walls up, which they will do anyway, and that's their job to do. And they painted. So really, they just painted. I provided every single thing, except for the paint. And I provided everything but the toilet. I provided the sink, the hood, everything. They just had to put it in place. It was a very easy process, and it was literally just paying for permits. And it's in their interest to have all the permits done properly. So it wasn't a fast stretch for them to give me a turnkey ready. But um, if you have nothing, if you don't have a hood, you don't have any of this stuff, and each state and each industry has its own requirements on what type of hood you must have. So it's kind of a little tricky if you've never done it before. So you'd have to go get a builder. But before anything else, before you talk to anybody else, you have to go to the bank. So you kind of work out with the landlord if it's available, what they would consider, what's available. If you're looking at a places that are already done like this, you just need to paint, change the name, then just keep that. If there's a hood, that would be stupid not to keep it, because most of your money, most of the reason why people go out of business is because they have a huge debt ratio. They have huge debt to pay. And the banks give you the debt for about 5 years to pay, or 3 years. I paid my debt in 2 years. I think they gave it to me for 5 years. And it's a lot of money to pay back. And it works out at about, I think I was paying like 1,600 every month, which is crazy money on top of rent. Like, that's why I want to get rid of it. It was crazy money. So, the other thing is I gave money. I used some of my own money, not all of it, but some of my own money. So I used like 70 or 80,000 of my own money, which I paid back to myself. So make sure you pay that back. It's whether you go to the bank or you go to yourself, that money is your, not the company. So the company borrowed money off you personally, and then they need to pay interest, which is the average interest, whatever it is. Back then it was 5%. Now it's maybe 6%. So always go a little bit below so you don't have any IRS issues. So just if it's 6%, just go 5.5. So always go a little bit low so there's no issues. But still, you are entitled, just like the bank is entitled to get their money. How the interest is calculated, that's between you and your accountant. At the very least, pay yourself your money back and work out what the interest is. You will pay taxes on the interest, but not on the loan back, because it was your money. So you don't pay taxes on what you gave away and you got back. You've already paid taxes on them. So that's a key importance. That took me a long time to work out. Do that. Um, so you go to the bank and you call them up and make an appointment with whoever the business person is. Now, if you could show that you have done business before, like you've gone to the market or you've made some money out of your house, that will show very favorably. If you can show that you've been, studied or educated in the area of what you're trying to do business in, that's very favorable as well. If you don't, at least do the business plan, do it well. Don't have too many products out there. Just be a very niche specific market and just ask. The less you ask, the better. So just ask. So make sure you try to not do the whole build out. The worst case scenario, if you need the whole build out, ask the landlord company how much it would be if they can do it, or and they usually work with a builder or they do it themselves. In my case, they did it themselves because they have builders built into their company. um well, Devaris is the management company, but Amadla Hoffler were the true landlords. They owned, Devaris just manages. So the owners, um who were builders anyway, did it for me because they wanted me here and they saw me as an asset. So if you bring something extra and unique, that may happen as well. The other company, the landlords, owners, they were the Potter family out by the ocean front. And they clearly wanted me to pay for my own. So that was the deciding factor for me. Both were great companies, both were great locations. It just came down to who was going to pay. And and they were both good locations. I didn't give up one I didn't get in a shitty location so someone could pay for me. No. So then you call up the bank once you have kind of done the homework on around about how much you need. Call up the bank and go get a builder quote, or whether it's the landlord, the people who own it, not the management company, but the landlord, because they presented to the owners. The management company, Devaris, presented to owns the property. They present it. Can you do the build out? Ask for a build out, and you can put it in and get something in writing, how much it would be, you know. And then once you have something in writing and you know what you're doing, you go to the bank and you say, hey, I need this money. Try to, whatever you do before you even go to the bank, work out the cheapest possible avenue. Look for a store that already was, that just closed down. The hood's there. This will save you everything. A hood alone is worth about 30,000, 20 to 30,000. To install it is another 20 to 30,000, depending on your hood. It's no jokes. It's no jokes. So just that, you know. So yeah. So make sure you have it all. Just all the interior stuff will cost you money, all your mixers, your ovens, everything like that. Everything internally will cost you anywhere from, depends on how you do it. Go the cheapest route, go secondhand where you can. Seriously, don't go all fancy new like I did. It was just stupid. But fancy new, everything minimal will cost you about 80 to 100 grand, all your stuff. Once it goes into your store, it all devalues down to 50 grand. So go get secondhand and replace it as you go. If you're making money, go buy yourself something else. That's my biggest advice. That is the money maker advice right there. Start off with a very low payback, with a very low debt, because that will dictate whether you survive or you dive and go out of business. So they're huge, just right there. And then when you go to the bank, you make sure you have your business plan, you make sure you have your financials, something that shows. And if you don't know how to do one, ask them for a business financial blueprint. They would have one for you because they work with it. So ask them before you go make an appointment. Make an appointment like in advance, a couple of weeks in advance, and have all this ready. Okay. Have a location that you are looking at if you haven't found one. Okay. Um, so once we've made an appointment and we've showed the bank kind of how much it would be, that we have some experience or not, what the situation is in, if we found a location, how much will it cost, how much money we have, they are going to ask us that second part. What is your situation? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? So who you are is um you I never know where to look. Where to look? Who you are is, do you have any assets? Do you have a house? Do you have cars? Whatever your personal financial situation is. Now, it doesn't mean if you don't have anything that they won't give you money. But if you have money, in this situation, you really do need some money to make money. So I had a little bit of stock. I had some money from the divorce, and the way I had it is, I didn't really get any money from the actual divorce because everything was in things. So the way I got it was I kind of got like my 401k, you know, and I decided to cash that in. When you go for a divorce, you can go and cash your 401k. Was it a smart move? Was it a dumb move? This is not that video. I'm going to do a separate video on cashing your 401k. But yes, it was a very smart move on my part. But that's not this video. So I cashed my 401k and I put half of it on my own house, and it wasn't a lot. Like 401k sounds big. And then I put half of it towards the business. So I gave the business, um, some money. So I didn't go into it with nothing. I just cashed all my monies. And you do need 20% down when you go to the bank. So they'll offer you 80%, which is really more like 70%, and then they'll ask you to show them that you have 20. But you should have 30% in your account because things come up and you'll need money. So you know, yeah, definitely. So you'd have to show you have money from somewhere. I took it out of my 401 to have the money because I really didn't want to take all the money I got from the divorce because I needed the money to live. I needed a house, and I decided to buy. Everybody told me to rent, but I had heard people renting and they were almost homeless. So I'm like, no, I'm always going to own because I'll own my own money. And anyway, so I had 20% down and it ended up being 30% that I needed, which I struggled through it and I continued on. If you absolutely have no money, you can't do this. So you'd have to work in your 9 to 5 and save up whatever, all of the work you did, just put it on pause and just work out what that 20% really was. So it's 20%, 100,000 is 20%, 50,000. What does 20% mean? That's why you do the homework. And if you got a store like this that's already done for you, someone closed it down, you're just going in to replace them. That's the best scenario. Go and look for them. If someone's going out of business, go and get that because they didn't sell it to you. So you save like 100, 2, 3, 4, 500,000. So instead, you go and you get to the management company, whoever has that place that you want, and say, hey, I want to come next here. Go through the process. It takes such a long time to go through this process. So even if you have like 2, 3 other contenders, half of them will fall off by the time they even get to it. Like Davaris here, they've had that hairdressing salon that went out of business like 3 years ago. Still not, and they won't put the price down. They still want what they want. They'll just wait for it. They don't care. So it's very hard to get people into the locations unless it's a very destiny, specific location. Very, very hard. Or if it's the time, sometimes the economy does really well and everybody's in all the stores. Sometimes it doesn't do so well, so stores are struggling to come up. So it doesn't matter, you just go along. I've been doing this for 11 years, so you just keep going. Just do you, and you'll see if it's something for you. Also, so yeah, you have to work. It's kind of like buying a house. You want to invest in the house. A business is kind of like an investment. So you want to invest in your house. You got to have, if it's your first home that you live in, it's 5%. If it's your real estate investment home, that means your purpose is to rent it out. You need 20%. The bank is the same. If it's they don't care if it's for what it's for. If it's your business, you need 20% down. So you have to get it. So save it. Go ask mama for it. Go, it's something that you have to invest in. Go sell something. Go, if you're going for a divorce, go get your 401k or whatever. Now, listen, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is all for entertainment purposes. Don't come for me. You use your own brains on your own issues. I'm just telling you how I did my life and how it spanned out. And if you want to do the same, how I did it. But what you should do not do anything I do. Just go and seek advice. I'm here for to entertain you and show you what I did. And so it could mentor you or could provide you inspiration or can get your butt into gear. But do not come to me like for real financial advice. That's your business. This is what I did. Everything else is your business. Please leave me out of it. Um, so entertainment purposes, people. Okay, if you do it at your own risk, whatever you do, it's none of my business. I'm just giving you my story, love, and half of it could be. I mean, what do you know? Entertainment, but it's free, so it's entertainment. Yeah. So however you get your 20%, get your 20%, you'll need it. Okay. And the best real thing is if you want to make your 20% smaller, do the work. Get something that's already up. You'll need a hood if you're cooking. Okay. If you're cooking, you'll need a hood. The only time you won't need a hood is if you specifically are baking, you are not cooking. But if you're a true patisserie, you need to cook things over the stove somehow. You can't just not do anything. You can't just blind stove. You need, if you're making eggs, butter, sauces, creams, any kind of heating, you will need a hood. It's stupid. It's so friggin' stupid. But if you're doing basic minimum and you're doing a lot in the microwave, for your sauces and stuff, you can get away with not having a hood. The best thing to do is go to the health department and ask them because they are the people that set the laws, the standards for how your kitchen should be. So go to the health department and say, hey, I don't want a hood. What are my options? What do I need to show you so I don't get a hood? That will save you alone. It will save you $2,000 a year, every year from then on. It will save you 60 to 80,000 out of the bat. So that alone is worth it. If you're just a cupcake place and you're not doing any stove work, why do you need a hood? Yeah, go work it out. Go work it out. You don't need a hood all the time. That's huge. Um, yeah. If I knew all that now, I wouldn't have done half of the stuff I did now, and I would have saved me a lot of money. But it's hard to do everything in the microwave. I'm a legit place. I can't do everything in the microwave. You know what I mean? Like, come on. But yeah, it costs you a lot of money. So just work that stuff out. It's huge. Keep your expenses, keep your build out real small, real small. Keep your equipment real small. They'll ask you what the equipment you'll need. Look up marketplace. Look up other businesses going out of business. There's a whole thing online. Just go get whatever you need cheap. I don't recommend that with a fridge. Fridge, try to get new. It's a pain in the butt to fix. Um, yeah, fridge. And every time someone comes out and looks at you, and smiles at you, it's minimum 250, to whatever they say. So you're at the mercy of these people. Okay, so definitely do that. That's it. Hope this helps with your money. Um, oh, just quickly, if you do have a house, the bank is going to want it for collateral. So just know that. That's why it's a huge risk. You can lose your money, you can even lose your house. So it's a huge risk. I often never understand why people are so mean to small business, because they literally have their whole livelihood, their lives. If they got family, it's their everything on the line for a dream. So, if you are married and you don't want to go in on it, just refuse to have your husband on any contract. Refuse it. As long as they know they're in the background, like I did. I refused to have my husband, who I was getting divorced from, but they didn't know that. But I mean, I could have not. I could have made up with him. Why bring them into my misery? So I just refused to have him on anything. And they were fine with that because they knew that he was in the background. He wasn't really, we're divorcing, but they didn't know that. So, yeah, you know, you don't want to lie on legal matters, but when there's gray areas, you can take something that is more desirable to you. You know what I mean? It's a gray area. Maybe we've made up what we're going to do. You know, the possibility was there. So if it's none of someone's business, don't include it. Um, so yeah, don't have your partner on the documents. It's not all free. Everything is a serious matter. So keep one of you's clean. The other thing is, um, there's nothing you can do. You do have to put your house as collateral. They wouldn't have dealt with me. So the way you do it is you just pay it off. Just pay it off. So get the least amount. I got like 180,000, I think, debt with the bank, and I paid it off in 2 years, which was astronomically awesome. And I did that because I had my house as motivation. I didn't want anyone stealing my house, and I saw the store was really struggling in the first couple of years, really struggling. So I moved locations, and I did a lot better. Okay, I hope this helps.